Ukraine has been hit with a large-scale wave of Russian strikes on the eve of Russia's Victory Day anniversary.
Rebel Syrians slam the Arab League's decision to readmit their country to the group, calling it a whitewash of President Assad's regime.
Britain's coronation weekend continues after a star-studded concert Sunday night with a Monday dedicated to volunteering.
5 people have been injured in Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, after a wave of Russian strikes ahead of Moscow's Victory Day parade. It comes as Ukraine's Special Operations Forces accuse Russia of using phosphorus shells in Bakhmut. This video purports to show the telltale white fire from such munitions falling in the city. On the ground, heavy fighting for Bakhmut intensified on the eve of Victory Day celebrations in Russia. Ukrainian soldiers appear to spend most of the time in bunkers, taking cover from the Russian shelling. Meanwhile, Russia has sparked a mad panic after telling people to evacuate 18 settlements in the region surrounding the contested Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. The mayor of Melitopol said on Sunday there were 5-hour waits as thousands of cars left the area. The head of the UN's nuclear watchdog, Rafael Grossi, has warned a severe nuclear accident could occur. Grossi, who recently visited the plant, says the evacuation indicates the possibility of heavy fighting between Russian and Ukrainian forces around the plant.
Russia is preparing for its annual Victory Day celebrations amid rising concern about domestic security. President Vladimir Putin usually uses the day, which celebrates the Soviet Union's World War II victory over Nazi Germany, to evoke patriotism. But this year, people are focusing on a series of drone strikes and sabotage operations. Russia has blamed Ukraine and its Western supporters for attacks within its borders, including an alleged drone attack on the Kremlin. Over the weekend, a car explosion injured a pro-Kremlin writer. Political uncertainty in Slovakia as its caretaker prime minister stepped down after a string of ministerial resignations over the past week, potentially paving the way for a pro-Moscow party to take power. The country's president has since appointed a top banker to lead a technocrat government. Slovakia will have a general election in September, and polls suggest that voters are leaning towards the pro-Russia Smer SD party, which is against sending military support to Ukraine.
A farmer ploughing his field in Ukraine. Those in areas that are now free from Russian occupation are risking their lives to clear their land of explosives ahead of the critical spring planting season. Even then, they must cope with soaring production and transportation costs caused by Moscow's blockade of many Black Sea ports.
Він одноосібник. Він на свій страх і ризик сам себе підвергає, ризику, опасності. Іде на поле, виносить, убирає. Є підриваються. Бо хочуть обробити землю, то що вони за счет землі живуть. Прошлий рік урожай не зібрали, не посіялися озимими, зараз сімечкою не оціються соняшником, опять остануться. Тобто остануться без грошей зовсім. У нас ситуація така, що ми орендоване підприємство, у нас робочі. Робочих послати на поле, на якому, ми знаємо, є міни, заряди, я не можу. Тобі ж послати людину, щоб вона підірвалася, не маю права я такого.
Like many other farmers across Ukraine, Ushkalo says his risk of going bankrupt is very real.
A decision by the Arab League to readmit Syria to their ranks after being suspended for more than a decade has been slammed by the US, the UK and rebel Syrians. Foreign ministers from 13 of the 22-nation group's members were present at the meeting in Cairo, where the decision to readmit Syria was taken. They stressed the need to end Syria's civil war and the resulting refugee and drug smuggling crises. But Syrians living in the rebel-held northern province of Idlib have voiced shock, accusing Arab countries of whitewashing President Bashar al-Assad's regime and questioning their fate following the decision.
احنا كسوريين داخل مخيمات الشمال للاسف شديد كانت صدمه كبيره، وان الرؤساء العرب بدل ما يخدمونا ونطلع من هذه المخيمات حيث المعاناه والالم، قاموا بغسل يدي المجرم القاتل وغسل يديه من دمائنا.
نحن ما استفدنا منه من عند الكان يعني عند ما كان بالجامعه العربيه ايش استفدنا، وعند الصار بالجامعه العربيه ايش استفدنا. نحن هلا كمهجرين وطالعين من بلادنا وبرا بلادنا ما بيفيدنا كل هذا الحكي، لانه هن لو ما مثلوا ما بيرجعوا على الجامعه العربيه يعني، وحتى كلياتهم على بعضهم ما في افاده منهم تماما يعني.
Syria's Arab League membership was revoked after President Bashar al-Assad ordered a crackdown on protesters in March 2011 that spiraled the country into a civil war that has since killed nearly 500,000 people and displaced another 23 million. The US and UK are among the Western countries that have recently stated they won't restore relations with President Assad's government.
Incumbent president and presidential candidate of the People's Alliance, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, held a massive rally in Istanbul on Sunday. According to official figures, more than 1.7 million people were in attendance. Rally attendees expressed their joy and trust in their candidate and his AK party, who have been in power for 20 years.
Recep Tayyip Erdogan bu zamana kadar vaat ettiklerinin hepsini yaptı. Yapamadıkları hiçbir şey yok.
Erdoğan Müslüman olduğu için, ahlaklı, cesur olduğu için ve bir de hizmet aşkı var. Vatanını, dinini, Allah'ını seven bir lider.
Geçmişimi bildiğim için, Tayyip Erdoğan'ın yolunda ilerlemek istediğim için Tayyip Erdoğan her zaman Tayyip Erdoğan.
During the rally, Erdogan attacked opposition candidate Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, claiming he was a drunk and that he was collaborating with terrorist organizations. The May 14th parliamentary and presidential elections may prove to be Erdogan's toughest yet, as latest polls have him lagging behind his opponent.
8 people have died after an SUV slammed into a crowd at a bus stop in the U.S. state of Texas. Another 10 people were injured in the incident outside a migrant shelter in the border city of Bronzeville. Police say it's not clear whether the event on Sunday was intentional, an accident, or the result of intoxication. The driver has been arrested and taken to the hospital. Brownsville is the epicenter for migration across the U.S.-Mexico border. This, as the state is reeling from a weekend shooting at a shopping mall, which left 8 dead, including several children.
More than 29,000 people in the Canadian state of Alberta have been forced out of their communities as wildfires continued to burn across the province on Sunday. There are currently 110 active wildfires, 37 of which are considered out of control. On Saturday, the provincial government declared a state of emergency, saying the hot and dry weather favored the start of the blazes, which have so far burnt 122,000 hectares of forest. A day after a gilded coronation ceremony watched by millions, King Charles and Queen Camilla let others take the center stage as they took in the star-studded entertainment featuring Nigerian singer Tiwa Savage, American pop icon Katy Perry, and many others. But then it was the turn of Prince William, Prince of Wales, to compliment his father and the people.
Pa, we are all so proud of you. And I also want to express my pride and gratitude for the millions of people who serve in the forces, in classrooms, hospital wards, and local communities. I wish I could mention you all. Your service inspires us, and tonight we celebrate you too. I commit myself to serve you all, King, country, and Commonwealth. God save the King.
The extended coronation weekend continues for Brits today with what's being called the Big Help Out. The aim is to use volunteering to bring communities together and create a lasting community service legacy stemming from the historic occasion. As the climate crisis pushes global temperatures higher, big cities are feeling the heat, with thermometer readings twice as high as rural areas. The combination of air conditioning, traffic buildup, and the lack of fountains or green corridors means cities can be a heat trap for the most vulnerable. So, how can we make our cities cooler quickly?
How do we design our public spaces, and how do we make sure that the buildings are better insulated, thermally insulated, to protect the people inside? But generally bringing temperatures down in cities by using special types of materials and technologies, but also nature, and water in the surface to bring temperatures down. We should keep air conditioning like medicine, giving it to people when they really need it, and really keeping it at minimum use.
Any delay in implementing measures would risk aggravating the situation further. Professor Harriet Buckley, urban warming expert, advocates immediate action.
So first thing, keep what we've got. And the second thing is to try to introduce more nature and blue areas into cities. And a lot of our tarmac in cities is also very dark. And the more darker surfaces that we have in cities, the more heat they will absorb. We could start by just painting our roofs white. That could be in the form of green walls, green roofs, small street parks, shaded trees. We can think about depaving, so removing some of the pavement that we have in our cities. Actually introducing blue areas into cities can be a bit faster than growing the nature that we need in cities to support us.
Some cities have successfully implemented measures, such as Malmö, Paris, Milan, Barcelona or Lisbon. But experts warn against the danger of inaction by governments, adding scientific research has identified the main factors contributing to global warming in cities.